Ghost. Hello and welcome to episode 339 of the Hooniverse podcast. It's funny, as we record this, I forgot to upload 338 today. So that'll be late. That one, it'll come out before this one still, but it's late.
I forgive you. I'm sure the
And
audience does. Who are you, by the way?
Thank you. And my name's Jeff. No, my name's Ron. And what's your name?
Steve Sanders.
Steve, okay.
I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast, but Steve Sanders has always been my alter ego, my pseudonym. Like, if I give a fake name for anything, it's always Steve Sanders. Because of
weird.
the 9021 character and his Corvette.
No, I know who you're going for.
I ate a Ferrari plate. Like, he was like the ultimate fucking car dude when I was a kid. 10 years old.
I have a friend who's he always gave a pseudonym too. It was Steve Alero, which is just because he thought it was funny because it was like the Oldsmobile. He told people that his dad invented the Oldsmobile Alero if they asked.
That's brilliant.
I don't know. Yeah, just because his name is Brendan, but he said like if he'd go to Starbucks, it was always like Brandon, Branson. Like they'd always. He's like, so it's Steve.
It's so hard to fuck up. It's hard to confuse, hard to fuck up.
Yeah. What is going on in your world today? Anything besides cars or old cars? What happened?
Well, thank you for allowing us to reschedule. We were supposed to record last night, but sure. I had a date last night, so appreciate that. Thanks for the time off, Coach. But got benched for a night. Nice. But no, that was cool. Other than that, just busy work stuff, man. Like, we're making wheels, we're planning events, and somehow I'm involved in a lot of things that not necessarily that I shouldn't be involved in, but just didn't expect to be. But, it's like, it's
Sure.
just like your deal. It's like you got to step up and make stuff happen and be a team player and help wherever you can. So that's what I'm doing. It's nice to be, I don't want to say active, but it's nice to be busy.
Sure. Well, that's good. And then over this past weekend, I finally made it to the Shitbox Speakeasy.
Wait, don't you have a sound?
We had a little Audi get together. I gotta fix it. I want to get it really good and make sure the audio is right and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, of course. Finally made it out. You brought me a beer, which I actually really enjoyed. Had no expectations, but that was delicious. What was it? I don't even remember.
I knew I could do it. It was from Maine Beer Company, and it's called, the name of the beer is Lunch, and it's a very tasty, simple
I thought that
IPA.
Might have been the brewery, but now I get it. I understand. It's a very modest,
good stuff, simple
understated label. Like, I really appreciate the packaging. It was basically a wine bottle.
Yep. Yeah. Very good stuff. The spot was cool. There's some cool machines in there. You were planning to get work done, and then we got zero work done.
Just like the second you handed me a beer, I was like, I was going to sip beer as I worked on my trucks, but the second you handed me that, I was just like, and I brought food, so I was just like, all right, I'm going to eat, digest, enjoy this beer, play with Felix, your foster pup. Like, we got all that in, and I was just like, it's fucking hot, dude. Like, I don't the one thing that was not cool was the temperature, so I did not feel like working on anything. Then I found out like the lift the two posts that I wanted to use might have been low on fluid, and I was just that's all the motivation I need to not work on anything today. It's just like, just tell me there's the slightest hiccup with any part of my plan, and I'm good.
And you had your Daytona Gray S7, and I had a Daytona Gray S8. We're a couple of nerds. It was cool to see them together, though. And that S8 I just spent the week with is, man, that's a good car.
It's huge.
It's comfortable.
So did we confirm that the S8 only comes
they're all L.
The long wheelbase? Yeah, because that rear door was like acres long. Like, it was like I couldn't believe how long that door was and how much room there was in the rear seat.
Yeah, they're all L's, and it's not designated as such. That's not called like an S8L, but and then they all come standard with rear steering,
Which I
which they
noticed
say
when we were pulling
effectively.
out in and out of like
Yeah,
the driveways and stuff. And I have a video of it, but it was just
yeah.
like, I don't know, man. Like all the new like big sedans have that, and it like even like now new big SUVs and stuff. But it's just it creeps me out like to see
Oh,
like
I love it.
slow motion, like like parking lot speed, like the rear wheels can't, and like it just like it creeps me out.
It's
It's gonna take me a while to get used to
it
it.
makes it effectively turns the turning radius of that to have the same one
Sure.
as the A4,
Yeah.
which is wild
Yeah.
because it's a big car, like you
Yeah.
said. But um, it was it's so comfortable and so like
Yeah.
quietly fast. It's just
It makes some noise.
wild
Like
because
it's
it's
even
five.
got like a little burble at
No, it
idle.
makes
Like it's
noise.
not
Yeah,
completely silent. Like it sounds good, but
I when I say
it's you're
quietly,
insulated
yeah,
inside.
right, and I mean that more as like it's
Hmm.
like subtle speed, not
Hmm.
necessarily literal the literal exhaust sound, but it because it
Totally.
does sound good. Audi's made good strides in their exhaust notes the last few years. But you can be cruising on the highway, and if you need to make a pass, it's effortless. The sound system
Totally.
bumps. The seats are comfortable. God damn,
Yeah.
it's such a good car.
I
So good.
loved everything about
Um,
the interior, but I'm gonna gripe about one thing. I don't know if you remember, but
the
yeah,
white
the
part,
basically like it had all black interior and then like a
right?
bone colored headliner, and that like
Right.
it was basically like the A pillars. If I remember correctly, the A pillars were black interior, but
Right.
then the headliner was bone, and then the C pillars coming down around those rear quarter windows was also bone. So it's like you have this
Right.
black, like super dark car, like dark gray car, black interior, and
Yep.
then like just glaring out of those quarter windows was the bone headliner, like C pillar panels, and it was off-putting,
Yeah.
as off-putting as the same color rear view mirror in my car, because the black rear view mirror for my car is on back order still apparently. So it's like we kind of had that in common. We had that theme of that, just like one like super obnoxious bright part of the interior standing out against everything else like dark and subdued. So
Right. Um, yeah, I did notice it, and then you pointed it out to me, and I
right.
couldn't not see it, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that
Mm-mm.
doesn't look great." So I totally agree with you. The car's sick. However, it has been replaced with a sicker car.
I saw what it is, but I don't remember what it is. What is it? Can't even
It
see it.
is a
Oh
911
hell yeah!
GT3 Touring.
That's right. It's like a blue metallic, like a medium blue metallic.
Yes. It's called like Gentian
Okay.
Blue Metallic or some shit. I don't know. Um, and we'll get into it because I know there's some questions about it on
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Instagram. I just hit the mirror with my wrist. This thing, so
How do you decide what press
it's
cars
fun.
get inside the garage? Besides the fact that they just
Um,
fit, like
if it's electric, I'll
sure,
usually pull it in here so I
right?
can charge it. And then if it's like special,
You just like
um,
coming out to see it in your garage, or yeah.
yeah, I do.
I mean, you
I do. I don't need it to flex in the driveway. I'd rather have this
okay?
one in here. And also the Jag is getting the
Oh,
AC
nice.
fixed right now, so this is
Got
empty
it.
right now anyway. Uh, but every time I say this happens every time I drive a Porsche 911, which is a douchey sentence to say,
Right.
but
Sure job.
I'm like, I'm not one of these Porsche guys who's the blah blah blah, and then I drive it. I'm like,
Shit's
God, that's the
fucking
best
good,
car
right?
ever.
Yeah.
And it happened recently with that GTS Targa, which is a spec I would actually, if I was in the market, I
Yep.
love it. It's because it's right in the middle, perfect,
Hmm.
so good. And I'm like, yeah, you don't. I mean, nobody needs the Turbo S, nobody needs the GT3, and then I'm driving this. I always prefer naturally aspirated personally to turbocharged engines. Just I like the punch and the feel of them. I like the linear power band and all that stuff. And this thing red lines at
That's amazing.
9,000 RPM. And then it doesn't have the 7-speed, it has a
Right.
6-speed. I love that it doesn't have the
Yep.
wing. I know our friend Johnny Lieberman says you got to have the wing. I don't give a shit.
How
I'm
often are
not
we? Yeah.
tracking this
How often are
right.
we reaping the benefits of Aero?
It looks so much better. Like I got to give credit because that design on that wing
It
is
is.
sick.
Yeah.
The upside down
Yeah.
swan necks or whatever
Gooseneck.
they call it, like true race car shit. Yeah, goose. Yeah. However, this car without the wing,
Is it
oh,
gooseneck or maybe it is
good
swan neck?
lord, it's
Swan.
I
If
don't know.
it's Porsche, it's probably swan neck. They would not. Yeah.
It's probably swan neck. Yeah, that's like on Aston Martins. Their doors are swan. What the hell are they called? It's like swan
Really?
doors. How they open slightly
Yeah.
up so you
Right.
don't hit curbs.
It's
Yeah,
genius, but
I think they're
yeah, I
swan
don't
doors.
know if it's that
Yeah.
dramatic.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bit of drama.
Swan Lake.
This thing is incredible. Like, I had to put a couple things in the front trunk, because I had to go shoot something today, so I had my camera gear in there, and the hood is, all
Yep.
carbon fiber, so it's that weighs
Does it
nothing.
have
You can get this with
Does
an
it have
option.
the actual logo or just sticker logo emblem?
Let
Yep.
me check. It has the
Nice.
real one. Yeah, it has the real logo. The sticker idea is cool. I get it. But again, because this is the touring, I love that. Like, I always say the GTS is the best of all the worlds
Right.
of Porsche, but I think I'm wrong, and I think it's this. And I think the crazy thing is, I think the GTS I drove stickered higher than this one because it was
It
so
was a
heavily
Targa also,
optioned.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Targa,
That'll help.
but it had a super cool green color. It had a really nice brown interior. That Targa, the spec on that Targa was incredible. But for some reason, I feel like it was like $190,000, like crazy expensive.
Crazy.
Where this one is
So
180.
crazy.
It
But
doesn't make
also,
sense. I
it
mean,
doesn't make
I
any
built
difference
one on.
because you're not buying either of those cars for sticker right now, and you're going to pay way more for the GT3 than for any GTS based on dealer
If you
markup.
have a, yeah, if you have a chance on any 911, I think a Targa car is your
Sure.
best bet because I don't think they get a
Yep.
lot of love. But this car,
Mm-mm.
hell no. And I built one online because I was curious, and I always like to do the paint to sample because now it's built into their configurator, so you can see the colors. And I always like to go with Irish green. And I spec'd a car, GT3 Touring, and it was 213. Because I did this green with these, they call it satin neodymium, so it's almost like a bronze colored
It's
wheel.
not
Oh,
Orem?
dude, it looks so good. It No, it was like satin
Okay.
neodymium. Something I can't
I've
pronounce.
only seen what they call white gold or Orem, and it's actually the color that I want to paint the current wheels that I have on the S7. I want to take those off and do those in two-tone Orem. I just got the paint code and everything, so that's why I'm like curious and somewhat knowledgeable about it. Like I just went through a deep dive in forums and found the color code because I really wanted to paint them the same like kind of silvery gold that the M2 CS wheels are. But
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
Right.
a crazy process. Like the wheels are like paint like fully polished, then they're satin clear coated, then they spray gold on top of that, and then another satin clear coat. Like it's
Jeez,
like a 5-stage paint process, and I'm not trying
that's
to do all that.
ridiculous.
But I'm curious what this color is and how it's different from the Orem. Like the Orem is like the color they use on the Cayenne Turbo GT and like the GT2 RS, GT3 RS, like throughout the generations. It's white gold or Orem is what.
These look. I'm looking them up in a different window. These look almost slightly more rose
Uh-huh.
goldy, whereas the satin
Hmm.
neodymium, whatever it's called, is almost slightly more old goldy. Like old gold is a much flatter
Sure.
gold, if that makes sense. Closer, like somewhere between gold and bronze, whereas this is closer to between gold and
Okay.
rose gold. That's almost how it looks to me. Both are cool colors, though. I will say that. I sent you a link you
Okay.
can look at later. Yeah, this car is ridiculous. No back seat. I wish it had a back seat. We were talking about that car earlier, your friend's car, but no back seat on this. Flat four, sickness. I love it. It's the funny thing is, I was actually supposed to have a GTS coupe
Oh
this
yeah.
week, and I was chatting. They're like, "Hey, that car just got pulled from us. We're really, really sorry." They're about to replace it with a 718
Hmm.
GTS, which would be cool because I've actually never driven a 718. I was
I'm
like, "All
curious
right,
if
that's
you even
fine."
fit. To be
It's
honest with you.
oh, I bet I can. I fit in cars people my height don't fit into just because however my body is shit. Like I can drive NA Miatas and shit like that. The But then they call me back like, hey, so it's been a mix up. Really sorry. Do you think you could do something with the GT3 Touring? I was like,
Can't do nothing with that.
bro, I
Get
guess.
trash out of here.
I mean,
If
if
you
I
get it to me
must,
for like 2 weeks, I'll figure out something to
yeah,
do.
right. But it's funny. There's like all these like caveats. Like, hey, when you open the doors, give the windows a second to drop. The frameless windows, because if you just open them, they're so lightweight you can crack them. I was like, well, I don't want to do
The
that.
glass or the door?
Yeah, the glass. Yeah, sorry, the glass, the window. Because if you don't give it time to do the little drop before you open the door, you can crack them. I was like, oh shit, okay. And they're like, and don't put anything heavier on the windshield, heavier than a GoPro. I was like,
I mean,
okay. It's like, God damn.
What?
I don't. Well, some people could do like big car
Okay,
mounts,
yeah. Got it.
if they were doing like car to car or something like that. But my favorite part about this car, one of my favorite parts, I liked it on the GTS too, is GPS based nose lift.
Mm-hmm.
So it knows that I'm pulling back into my house because I have that marked. It says, "Would you like to mark this spot?"
Nice.
If you hit nose lift somewhere, it will like do, and it remembers it, and I don't
That's
even have to
so
hit
sick.
it. I'm pulling up to my driveway. It's like so smart, but so simple at the same time. I love it.
So sick.
I love
I
it so
first
much.
heard of that with the C8 Corvette. Like at the
Oh,
launch, like that was the first time I've ever heard of that, and I was just like, "That's amazing technology. That's like totally useful, and would be appreciated by like exotic and enthusiast like car owners all around the world.
right,
Like
right.
that's absolutely brilliant."
Yeah, absolutely. So this thing's fun. I'm going to try to get some more seat time in it, just because there's so much going on this week. I'm just going to try to do as much as I can. But then next week, I get the Integra on
Hmm.
Monday. Well, I still have this for a few days, so it's going to be a little bit of an overlap. So that Integra might sit for 2 days. But also,
Understandable.
just I try not to pack my schedule so that I can give one car
Right.
attention. But the next few weeks, I fucked up. So the Porsche goes back next Wednesday, but on Monday I get the Integra. On Tuesday I get an R8 Spider. So for a 2 day period, I'll
Three
have
cars.
3 cars.
It's amazing.
That means that Integra is getting dusty.
If if you need somewhere to store any of those cars, you got a place.
Okay. Yeah, might have to take you up on that. And then after that, I finally get the Nissan Z, which I'm excited
Sick.
about. But while I also have the Z, I also get the NSX Type S. So these are good problems, but I hate overlapping cars.
I'm not gonna cry for you, Argentina. Sorry.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. And then after that, we're going to Autopia.
Yeah, buddy. And what are we taking? Do we know yet?
And what is it? Oh, so I'm supposed to be, early word via Porsche is that we're going to be taking a Taycan wagon.
Sick.
So we'll just have to plan the route and charge accordingly. But that car charges quickly. I'm not worried about it, and it should be fun. And if that doesn't work, and if that falls through, maybe we'll take a Jag.
All right. We can definitely take the Audi. I mean, if we're just
Yeah.
gonna go, straight left field, like I'd rather ride in the Audi than the Jag. No offense, but
Also, though the AC is literally getting fixed, that is fixed. So there's that at least. But a friend of the show, Rick Radcliffe, offered to let us use his Model 3, which I was like, okay, yeah, because like that way I can ride my motorcycle. I'm like, actually, I'm trying to get the Porsche. He's like, then I will drive the Tesla. It's
also
like, all right, cool.
the Tesla charging network is much more reliable. As much as I hate to give Tesla any credit, like I don't want to have the experience that a lot of our friends have had with their EVs and Electrify America charging stations. Sounds like an absolute nightmare.
I got the Touch,
Okay.
and I feel like people don't know some of the tricks. There's there shouldn't need to be tricks, but there are tricks, and I on my drive cross country really helped me get a handle on the situation. So I think we'll be good. Like there's one weird one. If it's not talking, you just add a little bit upward pressure to the charging cable from an Electrify America network, and then it talks to the car. Another one is if you give it a few seconds and it's not immediately giving you the good juice, cancel it, try a different charger. Like, don't
Right.
wait. Don't just sit there and be like, it's been 10
Right.
minutes. Like, then you should have done it
Right.
after
Yeah,
45
I wouldn't
seconds.
have patience for that anyway. So,
Right. So there's little things like that I mean, these are problems that shouldn't be
of course.
problems, but if you can navigate them, it can make your day easier without just being like, fuck all of
Right.
this.
Either way,
But
I'm
again,
looking
you
forward
don't
to it.
pull
Like,
up.
I don't have anything pressing. Like, I'm just there to help you, but it'll be fun for me to take an EV road trip. Like, I've never done it, and I'm super curious about the experience, and I can't really think of a better excuse to do so.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be good. It'll be good. Now, okay, so that's good. Utopia tickets are still on sale. The numbers are going up, which is good because I was freaked
Come,
out. Like 2 week,
come.
2 weekends ago, it was like there were like 3 tickets sold. I'm not exaggerating. I was like, this is going to be a fucking disaster. Now we're already at 50. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. And like you sell more like as you
Of
get closer
course.
to the event anyway. Yeah. So, but I was about to like be like, all right, this is a disaster. Fuck. And the house, because I rented us an Airbnb,
Oh,
is on the
word.
water. It looks nice.
Oh, okay.
Because Brad was like, yo, pick something, I'll pay for it. I was like, all right.
Shit.
I sent it to him. He's like, yeah, works for me. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's good to sell Radwood. So you said the other night that someone asked you to bring up the topic of BMW. So I'm going to move on to that.
BMW specifically, their subscription service for in-vehicle conveniences and features like heated seats, like and like
Yep.
reading further into it, it sounds like this is specific to BMW in South Korea, but
It's multiple
right,
markets. Not here
right, I
yet.
was going to say it doesn't apply to the U.S., but it definitely is. I don't know if it's coming to the U.S., but it sounds like something that they're beta testing in other markets with the intention of expanding worldwide. Because why why else would they do this shit? But like, yeah,
Right.
they're charging. The example that I saw that stood out to me was $18 a month added to your monthly payment for access to heated seats. And shit like that drives me crazy because
Yep.
it's really a hardware thing. Like that, I mean, of course, it's you can disable it with software, but like that's a hardware thing. That's a climate thing. That's like a total convenience, and I feel like that's something that it's either there or it's not. Like to fucking tease me with it and say you can have it for an extra $18 a month. Like $18 a month over the course of a 4-year lease is like a few $100, and it's like
Mhm.
you're charging me a few monthly payments to have access to heated seats, like something that you've already built into the car. Like it's not like some a self-driving feature or some navigation feature or something that's like super dependent on software. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't want to sound like a boomer and just like everything is so
No,
expensive and technology is ruining the world, but that just seems silly as fuck to me. Like it really just seems
it is.
silly and petty, and it's just like a money grab. And it's like once you start that, like if that becomes accepted practice in the automotive world, like I'm fearful for how far the automakers take it and
Right.
how payments balloon just to have features that you would expect in a vehicle that is a luxury vehicle or a vehicle that you pay a lot of money for.
Right.
He's
I'm
literally
I'm
nickeling
with
and
you
diming.
100%. Yes. It's the reason you pick certain vehicles is because they have certain features that you're willing to pay more for. So if you're in the market for a vehicle with heated seats, you'd be like, all right, well, these ones don't have it, so I don't want to go there, and I can afford these ones that do. All right, I like these heated seats. I like these massage. And it is crazy. And yes, they are testing it in other markets, but if it's definitely going to come here at some point, unless people revolt. And it's not just BMW;
Oh yeah,
it's other automakers. And then some people are like, well, what about like OnStar? I'm like, well, that's a
right,
service. That's not
exactly,
a feature. That's a service. And like Wi-Fi in a
right,
car is a
right.
service. The other things are optional features that if you're like, if I want this car, because it has this, I just pay, like charge me
Yeah,
for it
yeah.
once. It's wild.
It just seems silly, and it's like there's no net gain for either party. Like it's like if I want my vehicle so equipped, I'm going to pay for it. Just build
Mhm.
that in, like fucking, like another subscription service, something else that's like, is it a data grab? Is it just a money grab? Like, just
It's a money
build
grab
it in.
because
Like, you're not.
it's because
I feel like they're not going to make any more money than if they were to just include that in the price, and like that's already installed in the car. Like, like just
well,
like you said, like you
their
choose a
thinking
car based
is
on the features and value.
right, right. But their thinking is that uh, consumers are keeping their cars longer these days, so they're looking for ways to make money in between new car purchases, and this is the way some fucking psychopaths decided to
But
do it.
like
It's one of the ways.
80% of like luxury car buyers lease their vehicles, and we're talking about like additions to lease payments. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
as a buyer, you're just fooling yourself if you think, oh, you got this car at a deal, but then you start tacking on all the desirable features that you really wanted that vehicle for
right.
in the first place. Like, I don't know.
It's
It just
insane.
seems silly and convoluted, and I know it's going to become a thing, and it's going to piss people off, and they're actually going to
Mhm.
like deter buyers because they're going to feel taken advantage of. At least, I would personally like. I hate like any subscription service where it's just like, oh, it's just X amount of dollars per year,
Right,
but or they like advertise it per month, but then they charge you like one lump sum, and it's like, God damn it,
right,
man! Like, do I really value it that much? Like, it's like I kind of get it. Like, I see how they're trying to kind of play to, I don't know, I don't want to say a millennial audience, but like a young consumer audience where they're used to tacking on things and upgrades and shit like that.
right,
But I feel like there's no place for that when you're talking about hard parts and features
right.
within that are already built into a car.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then so I've seen some comments that are like, "No, this sounds awesome to me because, you get essentially get a fully loaded car, and then I'm just going to jailbreak it anyway." And I was like, "Oh, okay, you're not." Um,
Okay.
but and some people are like, "Oh, but the heated seats you can turn them off in the summer months and then pay for them again in the winter months." I'm like, "You can just not use them. Like you own them and you not use it."
Yeah,
Like
like I
so that
want to
argument
deal
doesn't
with
make
another
sense either.
subscription and another payment.
Right.
It's like three
And
times
then
this year. Here's my little rant. Three times this year, my debit card has been compromised and like, copied and used somewhere else, and I have to fucking change all my subscriptions. And like, I don't
right.
like putting everything on my credit card. I really don't even like using my credit card, at least until recently. So I don't know. I feel like my credit card is more secure, but like all these subscriptions, like having shit canceled or turned off because the payment didn't go through because I got a new debit card. Like, I'm
Hmm.
like, oh fuck that. Like, I don't want that anymore. Like, I like my Hulu didn't renew, and I was just like, okay, fine. And it's like, if I were to see like all of these things like on a monthly bill, I'd be like, oh man, fuck it. Like, just cancel all that shit and like save
Yeah.
50, $100, whatever it is. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like less is more. Just make it easy and convenient. Don't fucking nickel and dime me.
Right. Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, I think it's very, very stupid. But we're jumping over to
Yep.
questions. Let me
Well, that
see
was a question
where
that was
our.
from my friend Courtney Leonard on Instagram. So
Okay, there you go.
credit where
Perfect.
credit's due. What's up, Courtney?
It's two Twitter questions, then we have a handful of Instagram questions. Queers for Gears asks, with no budget considerations, what horrible, awful, unreliable car would you buy for your ex?
I bought the S7 from my ex girlfriend,
That's what I was going to say. I was like, you bought one from your ex.
but full transferable factory warranty, extended warranty until July of 2023 or 80,000 miles. Like, I wanted that car. Like I said it before, I did not want an S7. I wanted that S7, and
Right.
that's why. And so, I don't know. I'm probably not the best person to consult here because I'm on good terms with all of my exes for the most part.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't I
And
wouldn't wish anybody
no,
like automotive torture, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's a good answer. I wouldn't wish anybody automotive torture. Phil Darlington at Phil D Weather. Is the YouTube
What's
horsepower
up?
war finally calming down? Seems like fewer vids of cars with stupid horsepower figures than a couple of years ago. I'm gonna say no.
No.
Um,
I mean, I don't know if he's
I
talking
don't think.
about OEs or custom cars, but like either way,
Right.
no.
Yeah. No, I don't. I still see plenty of it. I both at the automaker level and beyond. Like Dodge, literally yesterday was like, we're gonna make a car that runs on ethanol and does 1,000 horse or
Are you
something like that. Did
serious?
you see
I
that
didn't hear
news?
about that.
Yeah, they want to do like one more like gas Challenger last hurrah.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna run on corn and it's gonna make 1,000 horse.
Love it.
Or like 909 or like some crazy horsepower
Entirely
number.
irresponsible, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Yep. Um, but yeah, no, Phil, we do not believe those wars are dying.
No, it's like,
Jumping
it's
over.
just like the YouTube face or any fucking clickbait headline. Like numbers fucking get clicks. Like the
Right.
higher the number, the more clicks. Like that's always going to be the case.
Yep. Let's see. Oh shoot. Okay. Instagram. Sean Keeley asks TLX Type S Sport Wagon. Yeah, it'd be awesome, but no one would buy it. Um, I think it'd be
We
sick
can't get
actually.
any sick wagons here.
No, we cannot. That Genesis GV70, that thing looks so good. The
Mm-hmm.
wagon version.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn posted a picture of it. She's in Korea right
Yep.
now.
Saw it.
Sam Gobbs. How do you prevent yourself from getting fed up with your project car? WRX is testing me. I don't know.
Yes.
If you can afford to take a break from it
Yeah.
and then come back to it, like that's maybe it,
Extend
or
that.
sell it.
Extend that break. That's my best advice. Is
Yeah.
when
I don't.
take
Yeah.
any excuse to not work on it.
Yeah. If you can have someone else fix something on it for you, and that could be it too.
I'll tell you this secret to not working on your project cars and letting them frustrate you is to have one really good car. Like the reason why I didn't work on my Mustang for the longest time was because I had the Hellcat. I'm just like white muscle car, red interior, loud as fuck, fast as fuck, warranty.
Warranty. Yeah.
This fucking thing over here that's like an amalgamation of like three different people's efforts and like a wiring fucking nightmare. Like, I'll get
Yeah.
to you eventually. And like
Right.
now I have the Audi and I'm just like I don't want to work on anything. Like it's hot. Like maybe in the winter, maybe in the fall when it cools down, maybe I'll go work on that shit. But like right now I don't just want to enjoy what I have and not fucking stress over anything.
Right. Right. Totally. Yeah, that's a great answer. Have a good car. Uh, Venezia
I def-
Photography asks, have you ever gotten stuck off-roading? Is there a story? Not stuck where we needed to call for help, but when I did that rally in Arkansas without the rear locker, we had to winch out a couple times. Although uh, on the drive, the launch of the DBX, the Aston Martin DBX, which is their SUV, we drove on roads first, and this was like when COVID first kind of eased up and automakers started holding something. So this was in California, out somewhere out near Ojai, and it was just three journalists on this wave, and we drove on the roads, and the car was amazing. It really does drive like a slightly taller DB11, but then we went to I can't think of the name of the off-road park. People drive there all the time, like tons of videos you see out there. But there was just fire roads. They put us on some fire roads, so we were off-roading in these DBXs. I blew a tire, and the third car in the train blew two tires because they had
Man,
us on like
22s.
yeah
Yeah.
Pirelli summer
Yeah.
tires. But I mean, if they're going to have us do that, even all seasons,
Sure.
would have just been a little bit stronger rubber.
Right.
We got rescued by a vintage Defender that was, scouting the trail for us ahead, like had spares. We were the first wave, so hopefully they weren't going to run out of tires on the rest of the trip. So we did have to be rescued that time, which was hilarious. And I would love to drive a DBX with off-road wheels and tires, but
Sure.
that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Corapati 911 asks, brushed a curb today and rashed my alloy wheel. How do you get over yourself after doing that?
Again, I
Have,
don't like. I like that's
go have a beer?
that's seppuku like action for me. Like I'm like devastated anytime I curb a wheel. And like the last time I curbed a wheel, true story, was 2016. the day of the election. Like I remember it because I made some post and like correlated it to
What happened?
Trump getting elected. But like that was the last time that I curbed a wheel, and I'm
That's
just
hilarious.
super cautious. And like my cars, like if I have to parallel park on the street, I stick way out because I don't come anywhere close. And like I try not to parallel park. I park far as shit in any parking lot so I don't get door dings. Like I'm super anal about it. And like I'll roast valets because I'm like I'll tell them up front. Like I pull up and I'm like, listen, man, my business is wheels. My car is like my business card. My wheels are expensive. If anything gets fucked up, like it's devastating to me and it's gonna be super costly for you. So just don't like leave my car here or park it like in a lot where that's not, an issue because I'm gonna
Right.
fucking examine my wheels like when it's time to leave. Like I've learned my lesson. Like I've gotten screwed so many times over the years. So I'm just like I just be super anal and like throw I don't know any sense of coolness out the window and just like be super anal and park like a dickhead if you have to.
That's hilarious. Of the five wheels on my Montero, except for the full size spare, the only wheel with damage is the spare because my bike rack is back there
Hmm.
and my pedal constantly hits the wheel in the same spot. So you would fucking die if you saw that. Uh, Pretty cool projects asked, would you ever solid axle swap the Montero? I wouldn't swap any of the axles on the truck.
That
No,
car's got that truck has an independent front end.
it has. I don't I don't know which it has for axles in my truck. But I know it has rear springs, not rear leaves, because it's the LS trim.
Hmm.
Hold on, I wish I knew more about my truck.
We gonna learn you
Yeah, right.
right here, right now.
Well, because I also want to add. I know, yeah. I mean, I know it has independent suspension, but I don't know much about what actually axles are in there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so then I can't really answer the question
I mean,
properly to know. But
it's
I'm happy
almost
with the way the
certainly not like Dana. Like
No, I would assume not. No. Commander 2v6. I always say Commander, but it's CDN MR. What are we expecting from the new Civic Type R? I think it looks.
you saw it, right?
I
You saw the
Yeah,
leaked
I think it
image.
looks better. That's what I expected it to look like. I like it toned down
I
like that.
I do too. I like it more pedestrian. Like I don't know. Last gen was
That's what
just
SIs and Type Rs always have been.
right,
So
kind of crazy boy racerish. Now I have a coworker that has a sick ass fucking CTR, like the last one, and it's silly. Like his car is slammed. He's got like uh, T37s, like 11-inch wide with like 315s in the front,
crazy.
265s in the rear, and like it's extreme. And like
Yeah.
that's he's like the 1%er as far as like fitment and stance goes. But like
Right.
that thing looks so sick. But like stock on like the 20s with the rubber bands, it's just kind of like a I don't know, fucking boy racer ass car, and like
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it's the only car that I would actually recommend stepping down to a smaller diameter wheel,
Right.
like
For
out the
sure.
box.
Yeah.
But this looks a lot. I don't want to say sleeperish, but it kind of is. Like it's just like it's nondescript. It's not as wild and crazy, and it's like I feel like something that you could enjoy without like just garnering the wrong attention everywhere that you go.
Yeah, I like it. I like the way the new Civic looks. So the Type R is a
I do
great
too.
evolution of
I
that.
think the new Civic sedan is the best looking sedan on the market. Like outside of like a Bentley or Mercedes or something like that. Like
Oh, you mean just like across the board?
yeah, just the best looking sedan. Like I've seen a couple of them like lowered on wheels, nothing crazy, not like super stance boy shit, but just like lowered on wheels and like every time I'm like, what new Audi is that? Like I'll wait for it in traffic and it comes by and I'm like, dude, what the fuck was that? And like I have to like catch up and like, dude, that's a Civic. Like that's a really handsome, like nicely styled car.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Hudson Tide asks if you could have been at the release slash launch of any one car in history as a fly on the wall, what would it be? Hmm.
I feel like they didn't like launches weren't what they are now 30, 40 years ago. Like you didn't have these huge press events and like all these crazy drives and experiences and stuff. I don't think.
I
Back in the
think they've been
70s.
doing them for a bit, but I don't know the whole story. I mean, I think there was a golden age of it, to be honest, though, where they did do some crazy shit. Um,
What would
but
you what would you
it
when
would have been
when do you
cool to
think that
be.
was?
I don't know, but what would be a cool one to have been at the launch because it just would have been so mind blowing. It was like the Countach.
Sure.
You'd be like, "What?
Sure.
That's what?
Right.
This is the future."
That's what I'm saying. Like a car show debut and a launch, I feel like are different things. Like usually a launch
Sure.
like has a driving experience and like some other shit going on. Even though I've never taken part of any of those except for the C8 launch. Um, I don't know. I feel like the experience could more than make up for the car itself. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'd probably agree with you. I doubt there's anything that's been as mind blowing as the Countach. Like there was a lot
Yeah.
of wedge cars, like from Jaro and Bertoni and like Bertone, whatever, in the 70s. But that was as close to a road car as a concept car or show car got for the era, and I can't imagine anything else had that much impact.
Yeah. Yeah. Blair Stevens asks, "Are you a big boat or little boat guy? I knew you grew up around the water with a father in the Navy." I actually have a dream boat. People have dream cars. It's my mind just went blank as soon as I thought of it. What the fuck is that?
Is it a
Jesus
Donzi?
Christ!
Is it a Boston
I'm getting old.
Whaler?
No,
What
it's
is it?
not a Donzi.
Because that's mine, like
It's
an
a Hinkley.
80s
It's called a
Donzi.
Hinkley.
Hinkley,
I'll
what
send
is that?
Hinkley. It's like they call it one of their favorite models called the Hinkley picnic boat. It's like 42 feet. It comes in different sizes, but it's just very New England looking boat. Like I'll send it to you, be like, oh yeah, it's New England as fuck.
Does it look like a
And
fishing boat?
it looks
Like
like
that's what I think of New England
it
boats.
maybe a vintage fishing boat.
Okay.
And when I show you the picture, it might make a little more sense. See if my thing to focus. Hinkley is my favorite style of boat, and if I could have like a 42-foot Hinkley, if I had any Hinkley, I'd be doing well because they're very expensive. But that size is like perfect. But I used to drive my grandfather's 13-foot Whaler, Boston Whaler, which is a
Right.
great boat. That around. I don't need like a mega yacht or anything like that. I never want to go on a cruise personally. That's not for me. The biggest I would ever need is 42. But I mean, I think sweet spots in the 30s. If I just
Totally.
want to be able to sleep on it, if I need to sleep on it, that's
Right.
that's kind of where I want. Hold on, all right, and then Noy AC Mariner. Would you ever consider moving back to England? Not really. No, we've talked about it, but I think we're good here.
Yeah.
We would try other places before we tried New England,
It's
probably.
expensive, but there's so much that you would compromise moving anywhere other than Southern California. Like,
Yeah, yeah. You move to real weather and all that stuff. Daniel Robert Drew asks, "How does Rotiform decide new products? Have customers pitched any directly? Thanks."
on the
You're like,
Forge
"No, man,
side,
shut up."
no,
What's
I'm
that?
not. Like, on the Forge side, like, a customer can come to us with an idea and, like, here's a project that I have. Like, I like this wheel, but I'd like this to be tweaked. Like, on the Forge side, it really is bespoke. Like, you know, the same wheel, you see a wheel that you like, but you have, say, some wide body RWB Porsche, right?
Hmm.
The ROC is the perfect example. The ROC has probably 10 to 12 different variants, right? It's
Hmm.
a 5-spoke that honestly like emulates the OZ Futura. That's just what it
Right.
is, right? Like that was the inspiration for it. But that wheel has so many different variations and so many different forging configurations that, like, if you just say I want ROCs on my car, it's like, all right, motherfucker, like, be careful what you ask for, because if you leave it up to us, like, you're gonna get this.
Right.
Like, it could be concave monoblock, it could be three-piece convex forging, it could be two-piece duo block with like the motorsport like ring treatment around the lip. Like, I mean, there's literally hundreds of combinations for really any style, but like that's like the perfect example. If you just go on the website and look at the wheel gallery and click ROH or
Right.
ROC, you'd see dozens of variations. So if you came to us and were just like, I like something like this, like I don't even know, I want a 5-spoke that does this. I want, a 15 spoke that looks similar to this, or whatever it is that you want, like we can accommodate. It's not inexpensive, but it's a truly bespoke like ordering experience, and like you choose your lip size, your concavity. But when it comes to like the cast stuff, like which is the money makers, and like what we stock and what we warehouse, worldwide and sell every day, like I'm not saying we're not open to input, but I mean that's
Right.
exactly what I'm responsible for. So my job is to identify holes in our lineup in the marketplace and say, okay, like, we're killing it with 19-inch Volkswagen fitments in this style, but we need something in 20 and 21 inch to sell, for example, for my car, an Audi S7, S6, S8. Like, we need 21s and 22s for the guys that had rotiforms on their VWs and like their A4s and S4s 10 years ago, but now they've graduated to kind of more big boy cars, right? So it's like,
Right.
to say I'm open to input, yeah, I'm always open to input. Like my ear, like is to the streets as best as it can be, and it's literally my job to determine what our holes are in all of our brands, not just rotiform. I mean, we've got TSW, Asante,
Right.
American Racing, US Max. Like that is literally what I do, is decide what vehicles we need to target with each brand.
There you go. Um, what else is going on this week? Anything exciting?
Chilling this week. I need to take it easy and not accept any invitations to have beers or do anything else, and just work on my shit this week. I really need to just get some stuff done. I don't know if I talked about it before. I think I have briefly mentioned it, but I have this Porsche Targa project for a client that
Right.
is now dangerously close to being finished. Like
Oh wow.
the last big hurdle has been getting the glass installed, and
Mm.
I have a glass guy that is coming to install a new front windshield and reinstall the rear glass. It's the '84 Porsche Targa. Like the glass is pretty brittle. Like it's like I get it. Like it's tough working with new rubber seals and shit. Like we're just gonna leave those outside in the heat or hit them with a heat gun and
Hmm.
like make them as malleable as possible. Safe Light refused to come work on the car. They're just like, nope.
Yeah.
Like it's too expensive if we fuck something up. Like
Yep.
it's just we're corporate. We don't assume risks like that, right? So my guy's confident he can do it. He's actually really cheap, and if he pulls it off, I'll plug him next week. But Saturday is kind of like a do or die. Like if we get this glass in, then this car could be done in the next few days, and like I'm totally thrilled to get this off my plate and kind of focus mentally on some other projects.
Sure.
But it's been a long time coming. It's been ongoing for almost 3 years. Like it's just fucking COVID and
Right.
supply chain issues and just labor issues. So it's something that I'm really looking forward to wrapping up, and like it's something that I'll ultimately be proud of. But it's just, God, it's stressful, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear that. I hear that. Yeah, I'll be happy when Autopia has come and gone.
Hmm.
But in between then, it's just a few cars and this and that, and there we go. That's all we got for now this week. We will talk to you all next week. Bye.
Adios, everybody.